This video is not for whales and dolphins, it's for you, because you are just like me. Average Duck Gamer here, and today it's time to tier list all of the engines. And by all of the engines, I mean, we are going to focus on the limited S-rank engines, i.e. the limited S-rank engines that you can pull for, because those are the engines that you're actually pulling for. We will also tier the standard S-rank engines, but when I say tier, I actually don't mean that we're going to use a tier list. And there's a couple of reasons for that. And primarily because you can't really demonstrate how valuable something is for both the character that it's designed for and also other characters as well through just a tier list. And this is the problem we were having just now when we were talking about it, is that there's just, unless you do two tier lists at the same time, one for how good it is on the character and one for versatility. So what we're actually going to do is we are going to do it via a graph. But the video title probably still says tier list. And we're going to talk about how versatile it is for other characters. And then we're going to talk about how good it is for a particular character. So the higher on the chart it is, the better it is for the particular character that it's designed for, the more desirable that is. Whether it's up here, it's literal god tier. Or if it's down the bottom, it's literal ass. Cool. And then versatility, only useful for the character it's designed for on the far left-hand side. And then super useful for other characters as well on the right-hand side. Okay, so starting things off with Ellen's engine. Okay, so Ellen's engine is pretty good for her. There are other really good attack engine alternatives. So I don't think Ellen's engine is necessarily like super amazing for her in terms of like you absolutely have to pull it. But the actual info on Ellen's engine, if we just look at it here, ice damage increases by 25%. Upon hitting an enemy with a basic attack, the equipper's crit rate increases by 10% for 8 seconds. When dealing ice damage with a dash attack, the equipper's crit rate increases by an additional 10%. So this is pretty good. Is it usable by other ice DPSs? If we think about it, like Hugo, maybe not so much here and there. Like he can use the ice damage, but he's probably not going to be hitting basic attacks to get his crit rate up. You can specifically play around that and boost up his crit rate a little bit, I guess. Could also be useful for Harumasa. Yeah, I mean, you could also use it as a stat stick as well, because like when you level it up to 60, it is going to have high base attack and it is going to have decent crit rate. And I think that's going to be the case for all of the limited S-rank engines. Like that's never not going to be pretty good at a very like base level. Meebs, the thing is that because this is a specific attack engine, it is only going to be useful for attack characters in terms of this bottom part. So Miyabi can use it, yeah, but she's only benefiting from the base attack and the crit rate. She doesn't get the additional ice damage bonus of 25%. It's solid. It's solid. So I think, to be honest, this is probably a pretty good engine to start us off with. Let's stick it on the tier list and let's say that it is somewhat versatile. And we can like start to move things around a little bit. And it is very good for Ellen, but Ellen does have other A rank and S rank alternatives that she can use. She can use Hugo's engine. She can use Brimstone. She can use other A ranks as well. But yeah, just in terms of the S rank engines, like I think attack is one of the better classes for decent engines. And also, when we start talking about, for example, Evelyn's engine, pretty much any attack agent can use that engine. So, yeah, the versatility is not super high, but it's definitely pretty good for Ellen. Okay, cool. Next up, then, we have Fufu's engine. Okay, so this is where things are going to get a little bit spicy, I think. I think that Fufu's engine, like, just so that we're all clear about what Fufu's engine does, let's just have a look here. So, level 60 at M1, which is where we're rating them, by the way. We're not rating them at M5 or M3 or whatever. Like, at M1, so you get one copy of the engine. Stun agent with an attack main stat. The versatility is going to be pretty low here. I'm not going to lie. Could you use it on a non-stun agent as a stat stick for additional attack for, say, an attack character or an anomaly character? Potentially, yes. But this, like, additional days is only really going to be useful for Fufu. You could argue that it's also useful for other stun agents as well, but then you're not getting the advanced stat of impact. So I would argue it's kind of super specific. And then also chain attack or ultimate to deal fire damage, so only going to be applicable to fire characters. The damage dealt by all squad members increases by 10%. So in order to activate that, it would only be stun agents who are fire, who could activate that. So we're talking about, yeah, Lighter and Kalida, that's it. Pretty niche circumstances where you might also potentially consider this. So I think what we're going to do is I would say this is not as good for Fufu as Ellen's, because I think that we have A rank equivalents that can do a pretty good job, i.e. you don't need Fufu's engine. It's a small uplift in order to get Fufu's engine, and I think that the versatility is lower than Ellen's engine. This is going to look a little bit toxic. That's not toxic if you're right. Well, it might look a little bit, but I think I initially went here. That feels right. It's low versatility. It's actually lower than that, because it's not really useful. Like, at least for Ellen's, it makes sense as a stat stick because it has crit rate. But Fufu's doesn't really even make sense as a static, because for most stun agents, you just want impact. That feels right. It's like one step up on versatility, because there might be a niche circumstance where you could use it. And then for the character, it's like, it's pretty good. It's her best option, but she has really good A rank options. Precious Fossilized Core, Steam Oven can work. Plus, you can use like standard S rank options on her. Yeah, Hellfire Gears, even Lycan's engine in a pinch. Yeah, I don't know. I think this seems right. Okay, so this is Qingyi's engine. Okay, from memory, I think Qingyi's engine is pretty versatile. I don't think it's like crazy good or anything, but I don't think it's crazy bad. Let's just have a read of it together. It's the one where you do a bunch of basics, right? And then you get additional days or something. Let's have a look. So, base attack and impact, like from a base level, like all stun agents can use this and they'll get the 18% impact. That's pretty cool. When a basic attack hits an enemy, gain 1 stack of Terrific. Each stack of Terrific increases the user's impact by 0.7%, stacking up to 30 times and lasting for 8 seconds. So, as much as Qingyi is probably going to be one of the only stun agents who can stack this up consistently, most other stun agents can still stack this up. The duration of each stack is calculated separately upon acquiring Terrific. If the equipper possesses stacks of Terrific greater than or equal to 15, all squad members' damage is increased by 20% for 10 seconds. So, you can probably get the damage buff from other stun agents, but you're probably not going to max out the amount of stacks. I know I've seen people running Lighter on this, because he does do his basics very quickly, right? So he might not be able to fully stack it like Qingyi, but he can definitely get you enough stacks. Trigger probably use it too, yeah, because of the aftershocks, that makes sense. Passive effects are the same, they do not stack. I guess, like, the stun agents who attack a little bit slower wouldn't be able to, but I don't like it. Yeah. For Qingyi as well, it's also pretty good. But we also have to think about the fact that, like, Qingyi does also have other options, because the stun engines that we do have, like, and we talked about this with Fufu's, and potentially why Fufu's is not really a huge uplift, even specifically for Fufu, is that the other stun engine options that we have are also pretty good. Precious Fossilized Core pretty good, Steam Oven pretty good, and then on a standard S rank level, Hellfire Gears is pretty good. Restrained is like pretty mid, but yeah. All right, so let's put Qingyi's engine then. I'm gonna say it's more versatile than Ellen's for sure, but for Qingyi, yeah, it's probably about the same, I would say. Maybe around there. Yeah, it is versatile. Maybe it's more versatile than I'm giving it credit for. I'll move it up 1. Okay. It's Evelyn's engine, everyone. Okay, so I feel like most regular viewers will probably know exactly how I feel about Evelyn's engine, but I think it's utterly fantastic. I think it's probably the best engine that we've had so far. And if you don't know why, let's have a look. So, you basic attack, you know, it's a limited S rank engine. You get the 713, and then crit rate at 24%. And then the characters of the attack specialty, they just straight get crit damage of 50%. So no additional abilities need to be triggered. Nothing else extra needs to be done. You just get a big old stat stick. But then after the crit damage of 50%, so just basically a huge crit stat stick, which is pretty much going to be useful for all attack characters. After that, when the equipper enters combat or activates a chain attack or ultimate, they gain 1 stack of heartstring. Each stack of heartstring allows the equipper's chain attack and ultimate to ignore 12.5% of the target's fire res, stacking up to 2 times and lasting 30 seconds. So basically, doing more chain attacks and ultimates closer together means that you're going to be able to maintain that buff for a while. So yeah, you don't even have to do them that close together because they last for 30 seconds. But for Evelyn, she's going to have that buff up like super regularly because you're going to be doing chain attacks very regularly. You might even save her chains for the stun window, and then you stack them both up very quickly at the start of the stun window, and that's chill, that's cool, you'll be totally fine doing that. For pretty much everyone else though, it's not going to be that useful. So the only fire attack agents that will be able to take advantage of this, I guess, is going to be Soldier 11. Potentially it could be good for Orphie, but we'll have to wait and see how Orphie pans out. I think for a lot of attack agents, and bearing in mind that attack agents typically they do value crit quite a lot. They really want good crit rate. They really want good crit damage. This as a stat stick is incredibly good. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it on here. I would say for character, I'm going to put this slightly above where Ellen's and Qingyi's are, and we're literally putting it up here. In terms of versatility. In terms of like how useful it is for other characters, it is incredibly useful. You can use it as a raw stat stick for the crit rate like you can with Ellen's, and then you can also use it for other attack agents, even Ellen, by the way, because it will give her a buttload of crit rate and a buttload of crit damage. Not that she necessarily needs a buttload of crit damage, but basically all attack agents want this. Harumasa, it's really good for. Hugo can use it. Like, you get the crit rate, you get the crit damage, you get the base attack. It's great. It's perfect for Evelyn. IMO, it should be a 10. I disagree because I think that for characters, some characters will see a bigger uplift from their engine. So we're gonna leave it like a row behind. That's the idea. So like without spoiling too much, when we get to something like Miyabi's engine, considering how much of an increase that is for her, and that you can't get the crit rate from any other anomaly engines, yeah, that's going to be right at the top of the 4 character. Because Evelyn can use Brimstone. Evelyn could use another stat stick. She could use, something with some crit rate and crit damage on kind of like Harumasa's engine or something like that. Anyway, we're going to carry on. Ooh, Metanuki Morphosis. We got the Big Apple, Yuzuha's engine. So it's an energy regen main stat engine. It is for characters of the support specialty, obviously, because that's for Yuzuha. And when the equipper's EX special attack or ultimate deals physical damage, their anomaly mastery increases by 30 for 40 seconds. When the equipper's aftershock hits an enemy, all squad members' anomaly proficiency increases by 60 for 40 seconds. Only one instance of this effect can exist in the same squad. So even though this support engine is really good, we have such good A-rank support engines. It's crazy. Kaboom the Cannon is utterly fantastic. Sukaku's engine, I forgot what it's called. Someone will remind me. It is also really good. Both of which can be used on Yuzuha, as well as Weeping Cradle. So you are spoilt for choice in terms of like other Yuzuha engines. However, I actually do think that the additional buff that the AM provides is small and nice. However, the AP buff kind of fixes build issue on anomaly-based teams. Because if you're sat there and you've got like a 300 AP like Vivian or something, that's going to feel kind of low. And I actually do think that the worse your anomaly teams are, the better this buff is. What I will also do is, let's put it back over here, is I'm going to say that it is not versatile at all. You can't make use of this on any other agent, really. You'd only run it for the energy regen 60 because it's so specific to Yuzuha. But in terms of the actual versatility, in terms of the actual 4 character, I would put it slightly above Jufufu's. So it's not great, but it is definitely like very low on the versatility scale. Maybe we put it on the same line as Jufufu. It's okay. It's okay. The only condition is EX special attack and aftershock and physical damage. I think you're forgetting. I think half of it can be triggered from the EX special, but it has to be a physical one. Hang on, let's go back. Yeah, EX special or ultimate deals physical damage. How many physical support agents do we have? But then also, you can't trigger the second part of it unless you hit an aftershock. Yeah. It's literally only Yuzuha who can use it. Yeah, 100%. So it is at the very bottom of the versatility. I do think it's slightly better than a lot of credit was given to it when it initially came out. So we're gonna put it at like rank 4 on our weird chart here. 4 out of 11. Yixuan engine is great. For Yixuan. Okay, so at level 60, 743 base attack. So it's the slightly higher base attack and then the HP of 30%. It's only for characters of the Rupture specialty, and then it increases crit rate by 20%. So it does seem that Rupture agents are probably going to be agents that just scale like normal attack agents. Rupture is 2.0 or some kind of shit like that. And Yixuan is specifically going to be probably the only agent for a while that scales on HP. Quick note from Editor ALG here. I went pretty hard on the HP advanced stat here, as it only being useful for Yixuan, but potentially future Rupture agents may also just scale on HP. So as firm as I was, I left it in because I think it was funny, but it might not actually be that bad in terms of versatility. So in terms of versatility, this is worthless. Is there a chance that this applies to a potential future Rupture character? Potentially, yes. There is potential that a future Rupture character will also be an ether damage, but there's no way they release another Rupture character that also scales on HP and is an ether damage character. It just ain't happening, dude. Yixuan engine is going to go very bottom of versatility, but in terms of how good it is for Yixuan, yeah, I mean, it's fucking amazing. Can we get a negative on the versatility thing? Yeah, I honestly, yeah, genuinely, it is that bad in terms of versatility. It cannot be used anywhere else. Literally the best engine, but only for exactly you. So, Alice's engine provides an advanced stack of attack 80. It is for anomaly characters, obviously, because she's an anomaly character. The equipper's anomaly mastery increases by 60. So kind of like Evelyn's engine, no additional effects need to be triggered. You don't need to do anything extra. You're just going to get additional AN. Pretty much good for all anomaly characters, by the way. Then, when afflicting assault, the equipper's physical damage increases by 20% for 20 seconds. Stacks up to 2 times. So, as long as you're equipping assault twice within 20 seconds, then you can maintain max amount of stacks. Repeated triggers reset the duration when the equipper enters combat and immediately gain 2 stacks. Now, for a character like Jane does build up anomaly much, much slower than Alice. However, the additional anomaly mastery is going to help her to get closer to triggering it multiple times. Not only that, Alice is the 3rd physical anomaly agent, and I guess what that means is that like the other physical anomaly agents, both Piper and Jane, can use this weapon effectively. So in terms of versatility, it's not bad. In terms of for Alice, it's also really good. Right, okay, so in terms of versatility, yeah, I think we're going to put it like in line with Qingyi's. Maybe, yeah, it's like 3 engines. You know what? I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to move Qingyi's up. I think we talked about it earlier. I think Qingyi's, yeah, it's a little bit higher. And I also think that Alice is a little bit higher as well. We're also going to put it on the 9 out of 10 for Alice. Maybe the logo is 2x2, so it's bigger and easier to recognize. Oh, I feel like we've come so far. Miyabi's engine. Okay, I feel like we've already touched on this a little bit. So we probably aren't going to need to go too in depth about it. It is a crit rate stat stick. It is a crit rate stat stick, and it's incredible for Miyabi. Let's just for argument's sake, let's bring it up here. Crit damage increases by 50% and crit rate by 24. In order to activate the W-engine effect down here, you are going to need to be an anomaly character though. So hear me out. This definitely works for meme builds. Let's put it that way. So if you wanted to run Piper as a crit agent, then you can do that with Miyabi's engine. It's going to give you additional crit rate. It's going to give you additional crit damage. When using an EX special, or when any squad member applies an attribute anomaly to an enemy, the equipper's ice damage increases by 20%, stacking up to 2 times and lasting 15 seconds. Duration of each stack is calculated separately. Also, it has the highest base attack of any engine. It's the same base attack as Yixuan's engine. And then the crit rate is the same crit rate stat as every other limited S rank or standard S rank engine. So it's the best base stats engine in the game because Yixuan's engine is got an advanced stat of HP. So it's literally only for her. Whereas with Miyabi's engine, if you wanted to try and run DPS Ben or something, this is the engine you should use. So yeah, I think it belongs here. It's you can use it as a stat stick. I might give it like a tiny bit more on the versatility. Maybe like a half step up. It's like a half step up. It's really good for Miyabi. It's really, really good for Miyabi. It belongs on the top line here because it's so much of a step up over her other options, because she just straight up doesn't have that many good options, because running something like Weeping Gemini on her, you know, she doesn't benefit from an anomaly proficiency or in the same way as other anomaly characters do. She much just prefers crit rate and also the attack, the base attack, I guess. It's fun for meme teams. Better base stat stick than Yixuan engine, but realistically, you're only pulling it for Miyabi. Okay, so at level 60, you know, we got the S rank base attack. We've got the impact of 18%, as we well should. And then it's going to be a stun engine. So upon launching a quick assist or perfect assist, the equipper's impact increases by 25% for 8 seconds. I mean, that can be pretty useful, especially nowadays in Astra teams. Other stun agents can actually benefit from this effect. If you happen to have it on hand, I wouldn't necessarily recommend pulling it for anyone else. But then, when the equipper launches and hits an enemy with a basic attack, apply Wilt to the target for 30 seconds, stacking up to 20 times. Repeated triggers reset the duration. When any squad member hits an enemy, for every stack of Wilt applied to the target, the crit damage of the ice damage and fire damage dealt by that attack increases by 1.5%. Only one instance of this effect can exist in the same squad. So yeah, like with the 20 times at 1.5%, that's up to 30% additional crit damage of the ice damage and fire damage. The wilt stacking can get decent even if you do them slower. That is true, yeah. I don't think it's completely unversatile, and I do think it's really good for lighter. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it up here. Bruh, this is the problem. Maybe slightly... I kind of want to put it slightly above. Extremely good sig, but not super versatile. Yeah, I kind of couldn't decide whether to put it in front of or behind Alice's engine. I feel like I might have made the wrong call here. Did it have a requirement of being a fire stun? Nope. We have Vivian's engine. So, anomaly proficiency of 90. So this is, it's an anomaly weapon. You get the additional AP. Base attack of 713. Increases anomaly build-up rate by 40%. So, really, really nice for an anomaly engine that's got base AP of 90 and increases anomaly build-up rate of 40%. Very, very nice. When the equipper deals ether damage, their anomaly proficiency increases by 20 for 5 seconds. So this is going to be, at the moment, completely exclusive to Vivian because we have no other ether anomaly characters. Stacking up to 6 times, this effect can trigger every 0.5 seconds and repeated triggers reset the duration. Very nice, very, very nice for Vivian. Not really going to work on anyone else. Okay, cool. It's a good stat stick though. Yeah, it's got the 90 AP and then the anomaly build-up rate by 40%. Pretty much every other anomaly agent can use this. Kind of making me feel like maybe we slightly overrated Alice's engine because I would say this is better than Alice's engine. I do think as well though, this area is getting a little bit crowded. I'd say it's more versatile and it's on the same line, but it's slightly it's very good for Vivian. Maybe we'd say her engine is not much better than Weeping Gemini. Yeah, I'm slightly thinking that it should be down a little bit. But I'm okay with moving it up like one more on the versatility. Slightly below on the 4 character, but slightly higher than all of the other ones we looked at so far for versatility, other than Evelyn's. I think that seems fair. Okay, we have Burnice go. Attack of 30. While off-field, the equipper's energy regen increases by 0.6 per second, so additional energy regen. That's pretty nice, to be fair. I think in the past, we have talked about running energy regen on the 6 slot for Burnice. That is not optimal, but it does make her a lot easier to play. So yeah, I guess with her engine, you would never need to do that because you get the additional energy regen from here. When hitting an enemy with an EX special attack or assist attack, the equipper's damage increases by 3.5%, stacking up to 10 times and lasting for 6 seconds. This effect can trigger once every 0.3 seconds. While off-field, the stack effect is doubled. Repeated triggers reset the duration upon obtaining the damage increase effect. If the number of current stacks is greater than or equal to 5, then the equipper's anomaly proficiency increases by 50. This anomaly proficiency increase does not stack and lasts for 6 seconds. So basically, you get a decent damage bonus. which can go up to 35%. And then you also get anomaly proficiency of up to 50. Yeah, the versatility is okay. The effect of it is pretty good. Again, anomaly agents do have access to some of the best A rank options, or let's put it up here in terms of the versatility, and then I feel like all the anomaly engines are like together. I think it goes down. Yeah, it's really good for Burnice. It's on the same line as a lot of the other ones. It's like an 8 out of 10, pretty solid. It's just not that great for other agents. And plus, as an anomaly agent, she does have access to decent to Weeping Gemini. Okay, then we have Astra's engine. I don't think Astra's engine is that bad, but again, it's in that support class where the support engines are so good that because she's so good with Kaboom the Cannon or Sukaku's engine, kind of a little bit unnecessary. Let's have a look at the engine anyway, though. So, yeah, it's an attack advanced stat, which does make it easier to hit her attack cap, but we shouldn't really be worrying about building them because, you will eventually get enough substat rolls. So, in terms of the W-engine effect, it is for a support agent, and when any squad member enters the field through a quick assist, chain attack, defensive assist, or evasive assist, the equipper gains 5 energy. So basically, she just builds up a bit more energy, which is useful for Astra. But because of how long Astra's buff uptime is, it's not like she needs it. It just makes it easier to play her. This effect can trigger once every 5 seconds. And by the way, it's not hard to play her. When the equipper consumes 25 or more energy, the damage dealt by all squad members increases by 10%, which is nice. So that's the effect. Stacking up to 2 times, so that's 20%, lasting 20 seconds. So basically you have that up all the time. Only one instance of this effect can exist in the same squad. So, alright, small damage bonus, easier to play, easier to build. I'm going to say on the versatility, it's pretty low. And then for the character, it's also probably the lowest that we've had so far. So it's maybe here, just because Kaboom is so good. So we're going to put it underneath Metanuki Morphosis. And yeah, I mean, maybe slightly more versatility because it's not as locked down as Yuzuha's. It's just, yeah, maybe like there. Why is versatility low? I think we're overvaluing the fact that other supports can use it and undervaluing the fact that the effect isn't that good. The A rank engines being good does not make this not versatile. Linktree, but it does. If we say that this is versatile, and so if we go like this, and we say it's not that great for a character, let's just redefine this. Not necessarily that it's versatile only, but that it's good on other characters. Not that it's usable. Because if you pulled this for your Nicole, I would call you a dumbass. Do you see what I'm saying? Both Astra and User Sigs are barely better than A-rank options. Thank you. They are not good value, if that's a better way to put it. So not just that it's versatile, but also that it has to be worthwhile for other characters to use. Is it worth it to pull? For Astra? Not really. Is it Astra's best option? Yeah. Yeah, it is. But is Astra, like, just fine on A-rank options? Yeah, she is. And are the A-rank characters that you would use in that support slot, like Nicole or Lucy, is it worth pulling and putting on them? Not really, no. They have their own engines, and their own engines are pretty good. Oh, Hugo's. Okay, so stat stick-wise, 713 attack, crit rate 24, crit damage of 45. So before we go any further, that is just 5% less crit damage than Evelyn's. That's not bad. It's got the crit rate main stat here, and if you're an attack character, you're also going to get the crit damage of 45. So if Evelyn's engine is already tied up on your Evelyn, you want to run someone else on the other side who you don't have an engine for, maybe, you know, you want to run another character there's an attack character you don't necessarily have their engine for, even without incorporating the ice damage bonus, the pure crit stats, not bad. Okay, then let's look at the rest of it. When using the EX special attack, chain attack, or ultimate to deal ice damage, the equipper gains the absolute zero death sentence effect for 3 seconds. While absolute zero death sentence is active, character ignores 25% of the enemy's defense when landing a hit. Okay, so basically Ellen can can benefit from that as well. So that's actually pretty good. We're going to put it right behind Evelyn's, and we're going to say that it's also really good on Hugo. So we're going to put it like right here, like a 9 out of 10 on Hugo. Yeah, that seems right. That seems right. It's a really good engine. Sanby's engine. From memory, I think Sanby's engine is just a crit damage stat stick, but how specific is it to Sanby? Let's have a look. So Sanby engine at level 60 is base attack of 713, crit damage of 48%. Crit damage increased by 30%. Okay, so if they're an attack character and they want crit damage and not necessarily crit rate, Sanby's engine is pretty good. So for someone like Zhu Yuan, who gets crit rate from her kit in a way that means that she probably doesn't need that much crit rate, pretty good. It's a lot of crit damage. All right, let's read the rest of it. When the equipper lands a hit with a basic attack, special attack, or aftershock, okay, they gain 1 stack of a buff. Each stack increases the equipper's crit damage by an additional 10%. So it could go up to 60, but it's only doing that on Sanby because you need to do the aftershock. Stacks up to 3 times. The effect lasts for 30 seconds. Doing a basic and a special on a lot of attack agents is something that you can do pretty consistently. So you can get up to 2 stacks pretty consistently. So that means you're actually getting crit damage of 50% a lot of the time. The effect lasts for 30 seconds with each stack's duration. But yeah, no other attack characters is doing the aftershocks at the moment. The effect lasts for 30 seconds with each stack's duration calculated separately and can only be triggered once per use for skill. Yeah, with all 3 stacks, the equipper's electric damage increases by 20%. So again, that's only affecting Sanby right now. It takes a little bit more to activate it, as in like you don't just get it for free like you do with Evelyn's and Hugo's, because both of them was like just get crit damage at 45, just get crit damage at 50. So you have to put a little bit more effort in. So we're going to take it down on the versatility. We're also going to say that honestly, Sanby is quite an engine reliant character. I'm going to put it high, and I'm going to put it slightly below on the versatility in terms of these ones. I think it's maybe below Vivian's. Maybe that means Vivian moves up a little bit, just like there. Zhu Yuan. Oh, wait, I copied it twice. Okay, Zhu Yuan Sig. I remember when the game first came out and Zhu Yuan was coming out and everyone was popping off about how good her signature was. And I was like, guys, Brimstone's really good. Anyway. Okay, right. So Zhu Yuan, 713, got advanced stat of crit damage, 48%. Increases crit rate by 15%. So just at a baseline, you get the crit damage, you get the crit rate. You don't have to do anything else. It's quite small, though, in comparison to the numbers that you're seeing from, like Evelyn's engine or Hugo's engine, just at a baseline. Launching an EX special attack grants the equipper 8 charge stacks, up to a maximum of 8 stacks. Whenever the equipper's basic attack or dash attack deals ether damage. Yeah, so it's literally only Zhu Yuan who can benefit from that. So I actually think the value is low, the versatility is low, and I think we have to think about, like, what other options are available. And we have to say Brimstone at like 1 refinement, as in like W1, like no stacks of Brimstone is pretty much the same value. If you get 2 stacks of Brimstone, it's just better. And for 60 pulls, you could get P2 Brimstone guaranteed from the shop, and it's better. 4 character, do we put it below Astra's? Same as Astra? Yeah. But it's less versatile, Ed. Well, maybe it's about the same versatility. Like, you can use it. Like, if, for example, you had no other S-rank engines, no Brimstone, and, like, no other limited S-rank engines, and you wanted to use, like, say, Harumasa, it still gives you 48% crit damage and 15% crit rate. That's not bad. For, like, free-to-play or low-spend players, you don't have a crit rate engine if you've never pulled for a limited S-rank. So if you've never pulled for a limited S-rank, you don't have anything with crit rate on it, because the only crit rate engine is the Cannon Rotor or Marcato Desire, which was an event weapon. So if you don't have any crit substat balls at all, then yeah, you could argue it's more versatile than Astra's, because you will kind of get some use out of it. Trigger. Level 60, it gives crit rate. It's a stun engine that provides crit rate. Now, for a meme team, you might think, okay, well, yeah, maybe, sure. Except, then you realize that you can basically use this engine on anyone, because they're not going to be able to use the W-engine effect unless they are an Aftershock electric character. So when the equipper's Aftershock hits an enemy, causing electric damage. Wow. It's only trigger. So in terms of versatility, it is going to be at the very bottom. It's also, as well as the fact that realistically, I was about to say like a stun agent. A stun agent probably doesn't want that much crit rate. They probably, I mean, but they could use that crit rate. But the thing is that if you just wanted crit rate, you could use any other stat stick. Like if you wanted it for a Lycan DPS meme build, I mean, you could just use, you know, anything else that's got a crit rate main stat. You could use Necromartyrs. You could use this one. Yeah, it's maybe we are saying it's slightly more valuable than Yixuan's because you could use it as a stat stick. You could. Just from a baseline 713 and 24%. Yeah, I mean, you could even use that on attack character if you got nothing else. So there it goes. It's right up there. It's very, very good, though. The 25% Death Shred, very, very good. I think it's in line with these weapons. It is entirely responsible for why people thinking the trigger's good. Sharpened Stinger. So, as an AP stat stick, not bad, 90 AP. Upon activating a dash attack, gain 1 stack of Predatory Instinct. Each stack of Predatory Instinct increases the equipper's physical damage by 12% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. This effect can trigger once every 0.5 seconds. Repeated triggers reset the duration. When entering the combat or triggering Perfect Dodge, gain 3 stacks of Predatory Instinct. While Predatory Instinct is at a maximum amount of stacks, the equipper's normally build-up rate is increased by 40%. Okay, so good. It's good for Jane. It is still, I believe, Jane's best W-engine if you can maintain the stacks. Yeah, realistically, like, could you use this on Piper or Alice? I mean, you could. It's actually better than I thought it was on Piper, I'm not going to lie. But I think for Alice, when you come on and you know, maybe you come on straight away and you're going to do her health basic or something like that, having to then, like, either perfect dodge or dash attack to work around it, to try and get the stacks up is a bit of a pain, but I mean, you could do it. I think we probably have it in around the right spot. We have Caesar's engine. Okay, next up we have Caesar's engine. I remember it being kind of good. Okay, yeah. So the advanced stat is Impact, which is actually pretty useful for other stun agents, for other defense agents as well, because, you know, when you will defensive assist with Seth and Pan, for example, and Ben to an extent. So yeah, it's probably not going to be bad. Shield value provided by the equipper increases by 30%. Again, pretty useful for someone like Seth. When any squad member triggers Interrupt or Perfect Dodge, all squad members' damage increase by 18%, and Days Dealt increases by 12% for 20 seconds. Passive effects of the same name do not stack. That's pretty good. I actually think this is going to go higher on the versatility than I thought it was going to. I thought there might have been some like Caesar-specific stuff, but there's actually not. And Days Dealt increases by 12% for 20 seconds. Again, that's pretty good. Passive effects are the same and do not stack. It's like you barely need to do anything. All right, so we're going to put it pretty high on the versatility. How good is it for Caesar? So are we going to put it like here? Maybe like an 8 out of 10 engine, but pretty versatile? Maybe it even goes like around where Vivian's is right now. It's versatile. It's just like it's not that good of an end. Yeah, because I mean, realistically, is Caesar already providing enough buffs anyway? Yeah. Is that good on defenders? It is. Yeah. It's just there's not really that many defenders. Because if we think about it, what have we got? We got Pan, Ben, and Seth. I think the more I think about it, the more I think that it's maybe there, but maybe we bring it down like here. Yeah, it's best in slot for all of them. It's just defender class is not developed enough in the game. Yeah, so it's not really something that you recommend just pulling anyway. I agree. They can all use it. Yeah, absolutely they can. Okay, then we go... What is it? Last engine. The last engine. It's Yanagi's. Okay, so the advanced stat is attack. Based, you know, you get the standard base attack of 713. Equipper's electric anomaly build-up rate increases by 30%. That's nice. Now, there was a time where this was just any anomaly build-up rate, but then they eventually did patch it out. When special attack or EX special attacks hit the enemy suffering an attribute anomaly, the equipper's anomaly proficiency increases by 75 for 15 seconds. So the electric anomaly build-up rate is only really going to be useful for Grace, but the special attack or EX specialing hitting enemies that are suffering from an anomaly, getting the AP buff of 75 is actually pretty good. When the equipper's anomaly proficiency is greater than or equal to 375, which should be pretty much every anomaly agent, disorder damage inflicted by the equipper increases by 25%. So the second two things are not necessarily tied to this electric anomaly build-up rate. The electric anomaly build-up rate is going to be exclusive to Yanagi and Grace, but then the special attacks or EX specials getting you additional 75 AP, yeah, that's just free. And then the anomaly proficiency being greater than 375, increasing the disorder damage, is also going to be free. I got in an accidental temple. Fuck you. It is a crazy engine still. It's still pretty good. It's, yeah, I would say because Weeping Gemini exists, it's not hitting that 9 out of 10 level that a lot of the other ones have hit, like as in like the attack engines have started hitting. But yeah, I'd say it's still pretty good on Yanagi and very useful on other anomaly agents. Please don't forget Harumasa. Oh, is he there? Oh, Harumasa. So the advanced stat is crit damage, and then the Wenjin effect is he gets crit rate of 10%, dash attack, electric damage increased by 40%. That's pretty good. Also pretty good for Sanby. When any squad member applies an attribute anomaly or stuns an enemy, the equipper's crit rate increases by an additional 10% for 15 seconds. So during stun, you get 20% crit rate. So as a stat stick, it's better than Zhu Yuan's. But then you also get that dash attack damage increasing by 40%, which is just free. It's you have not building up any stacks, nothing like that. You just get dash electric. If it's electric damage, those dash attacks just do an additional 40%. I put it slightly higher on versatility, but those electric slashes are really good for Harumasa, so it's probably exists somewhere in the middle here. Honestly, so weird. Maybe slightly higher. It's good for him. It's good. It's not amazing. Crit rate and electric damage can be used by other characters. Whether or not you should or shouldn't, meh. So it is more versatile than Zhu Yuan's engine. Maybe C could use it. Yeah, I think if we keep getting electric attack agents, maybe the value of it goes up. So there we have it. That is our limited S rank tier list. And by tier list, I mean graph. Because graphs are cool. As always, remember to like and subscribe, pet average luck, and all your pulls, pour responsibly, stay weird, join the Discord, follow me on Twitch, you know, all of that stuff. Bye.